I wanted to spend a moment to talk a little bit about high DPI displays and what you need to do as a web designer. A high DPI display is a monitor or screen that displays twice as much resolution. Apple has a product called the Retina display, which is available on their MacBook Pros, iPads, and iPhones, but other manufacturers are also using these high DPI displays. What that means is that the pixel information available within one of these screens is twice that of a standard display. Now, the confusion comes when you talk about resolution. If I come up to the image menu, and from the image menu I choose image size, you'll notice that there's a resolution setting here. Honestly, many of these displays ignore this resolution setting and really focus on the width and the height. So, if you're working on a website and the website calls for an image that should be 100 by 150 pixels in terms of its dimensions, you would also need to create an image twice the size, which would be 200 pixels by 300 pixels. Now, this can pose a problem if you don't have the original artwork and you're left with upsizing your artwork. If it's not vector-based artwork, you're going to encounter a good amount of image quality reduction, so it's not all that advantageous to do that. So it's important that your images are available at twice the size in which you want to display them on a standard resolution screen. And that's really all I can say about that. Ideally, if you're working with shape layers inside of Photoshop, that's infinitely scalable, so you would have the ability to increase the size of that image asset. When you're creating mock-ups and layouts, keep that in mind that you may want to save a larger version of a particular image in case you want to address the needs of these high DPI displays. So, for example, you would ultimately save two versions of the image. One that's twice the size of which you want it to appear on a standard resolution, and then another which is the actual dimensions that you want it to appear on a standard resolution monitor. In this particular file, treelogo.psd, which is available inside your exercise files folder, this logo is twice the size of the standard resolution image that I need, so I can create a high DPI version. Before I go in and create the two versions, though, I want to trim the excess from this document, and you can do that easily by coming up to the image menu, and from the image menu, you can choose Trim. In this case, I'm going to trim all the transparent pixels, and I'm going to trim away on the top, left, bottom, and right. Go ahead and click OK. You'll notice it's a little bit smaller now. If we come up to the image menu and choose image size, we can see that it's 195 by 222. You would come up to the File menu and choose Save for Web. You would spend some time optimizing it, and when you were done, you would click Save. In this case, I'm going to save it on the desktop as tree logo, and then I'm going to use @2x, which is a standard Apple naming convention for a high DPI image. You don't necessarily need to use this, but other frameworks and libraries that are available out there also use this naming convention, so it's not a bad idea. So you would save this at tree-logo @2x, and you would save it. And then you would come back to the File menu and choose Save for Web. And here, you do the exact same thing, except you would reduce the size by 50%, giving you the standard resolution version. So here, I'll go ahead and click Save. I'm going to name it the exact same thing without the @2x in the file name, and click Save. Now that optimized version has been saved. Let's go ahead and open up both of them so we can compare them. So I'm going to come over to the desktop. I'm going to find those two images. I'll select them both. You can see that they're different in terms of file size, and when you open them, you can see that they're different in terms of physical size. So that's how you address high DPI displays. The only time you're really going to have trouble is if you have an image that's set to this size and it's a bitmap-based image and you need it to be really this size for the Retina or high DPI display. Then you have probably some recreation to do on your end. But nevertheless, if you can start off by remembering that you want to be able to target these high DPI displays, make sure that you always have an asset that's twice the size of the standard resolution asset.